What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and today we have something new, a new game, Madden 17. I have this with the AA Access full game for now. It gives you about 10 hours, and so I decided I'm gonna try to do a franchise sim today with the Minnesota Vikings. Not really gonna get too into it. I just want to kind of see how the game flows when you simulate through a season and see how things are. But the first thing I think most people notice when they go into this game is that the ratings for each player seem to be down a little bit than most years. Most of the time they give a couple 99s, and some of the top players are usually a little bit higher overall than you'd think, but this year they really down the overalls quite a bit, so maybe harder to sim and maybe get a good result, or maybe it's going to be harder to play and have really good players progress very well, and you're really going to have to try to progress your players this year, it seems like. And some of the new improvements I think you can see so far is you have that big decisions throughout your entire season. Like if I went week by week, for one, this would take a half hour, 45 minutes of an episode. And two, though, we'd get the more in-depth look of like the big decisions for each week, playing a player if he's somewhat injured and can play, or if we use his backup. As you see, we simulated the first like 8 weeks, and we're 1-5-1, but you can tell that's because Teddy Bridgewater was injured for most of the first half of the season, so that's probably one of the main reasons. But I just wanted to sim and see how this one went by. I also simmed the off season to see if it was like the same exact way as last year's, and you'll see that in just a minute. But this is just to get a break because I don't start my franchises until there's a nice slider set for me to use. It's the same thing as NCAA with the rosters. I want to wait for the rosters to be ready, and that's why I have just recently started that. But I want a good slider set that's going to let me play like Madden 16's 3-4 years deep in a franchise. Even though I started that one kind of late, I still got 3 years through. We're just about to finish up that third year in the playoffs in the Super Bowl, so make sure you check that out if you haven't yet. We are going to have about one, maybe two more episodes of that franchise, but this is a little bit different for the scouting this year. They show you their top skill when you scout them first. So you see his top skill is going to be a B+ release, so therefore I just thought I stopped scouting him. As you see, it'll go down from there, B+, B+. Now that is a good one. So it's really up to you. If you think that a B+ release and you think it's only going to get worse from there, or if you think it's going to be B+ release, B+ catching, B+ catching traffic, that's your risk. It's all up to you how you want to spend your points, and I think that's kind of cool how they did that. Instead of last year where they just give you 3 random categories and you had to really base it off that, whether it's going to be someone that you wanted or not. Instead, this year they give you their top grade total on that player, so that's pretty exciting. Actually, I really like that new change in scouting in the franchise, so that should help when we do our actual franchise, which I have not decided which team I'm going to do yet. I will set out a poll in a couple of days or a week or so for you guys to decide who you want me to do my Madden 17 franchise with. As you know, I did with the Vikings this last year, and I'm down to do whichever one you guys want to see. But here you see, once again, I think Bridgewater was injured. I obviously didn't play the games or anything, so I have no clue if he's injured or if this is just another big decision from earlier in the year. I'm not sure, but I like this practice squad player signed. I really enjoy that the practice squad in this year's Madden 17 game. I'm going to be using that quite a bit for the franchise to keep hold of some players that have some promise but really aren't going to make the team right away and really aren't going to make an impact. But here you see the standings. We did not have a very good year at all. We were one of the worst teams, I believe like the 7th worst team in the NFL, but due part to Teddy Bridgewater being injured. I don't think Sean Hill's very good of a QB to simulate with, but we went 5-10-1. Had a better second half of the season, I guess, but not good all in all. So that wasn't very good, but obviously this is just a sim, so you can't even base anything off that. I think if I were to play, we would have been pretty close to the playoffs or even made the playoffs. But there's quite a different things about the gameplay in this year, and if you guys want to see some of the gameplay, I recorded a Draft Champions first 2 games and the draft that I did, and if you want to see that, let me know in the comment section if you'd like me to do a Draft Champions episode. I'll edit it down for you guys, and I will bring that out for you if you want to see it, though. If not, that's fine too. I just recorded it just in case you guys want to see it, and I only get 10 hours before my game trial runs out. So yeah, but I will be getting the full game anyway. But if you guys want to see that Draft Champions, make sure you let me know, and I'll definitely bring that out to you in the next couple of days. But you see, we're getting towards the off season here now as we're simulating through the playoffs. I'm pretty excited for that. The one things I like so far through the simming that I've seen is the new scouting. I love the big time decisions, how you saw Bridgewater had a broken toe and you could play him through, or you could bring in Sean Hill as a backup. And I love the practice squad. How they brought in that type of thing, because that's realistic. That is what happens in real life. If you don't want to have a player on your active roster, but you want him to go against the starters in practice, then you have him in the practice squad, and they're still with your team instead of just releasing them and getting the risk of someone picking them up or them just not developing. That would make no sense. That's why they put them on the practice squad. So I'm really excited to use that. That is very exciting. So those are just a couple of things I've seen so far when I sim, but this is just no gameplay, straight sim. Maybe soon I'll do like I actually play games and I'll show you guys a little bit of something, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe I'll just save that for my Madden 17 franchise, which is what I'll probably end up doing. But still some good things to look forward to so far in this game, but you still have to wait until we get to the off season. We have the draft, free agency, all that kind of stuff, re-signing players, and that's where it gets interesting for me, because you will see in a second here, as we advance to the offseason, you have to re-sign players. Obviously, it happens every single year, and that's usually one of the main parts about the franchise. Re-signing all your players is kind of the one thing that you really look forward to in the free agency, because you want to re-sign them all back, have enough cap room to go make a splash in free agency. But we have 19 players ready to negotiate their contracts. And you'll see after I go through this was really frustrating. I don't know if this is just because I had this could be the case. I had a really bad year, and that's why some of these people didn't want to re-sign for me. I get that. That's definitely a way that happens. You know, teams don't want to play for an awful team that's not going anywhere, and that could be the case. But you'll see me go through and re-sign these people. Their fair offer is 30.44 years. Well, if I'm going to give him that, then you'd think even a little bit more I give him, you'd think he would come. But no, he's going to go to free agency. And you'll see this is like a pattern throughout. Unless I offer them so much more above what they wanted, they will not come back. And even last year, if you gave someone a little bit over what they really desired and wanted, then they would sign back usually. But in this case, I could not sign anybody back unless I gave them a huge contract over they wanted. Even Chad Greenway, I gave him $3.26 million for 1 year to come back with the team. We had a down year, I know, but that could be the case, I know, but I just don't feel it. I hope that is the case. I hope that it's just they want to go play for a winning team, because you see I even gave Cordero Patterson, who's like a 5th string wide receiver, $4 million over what he actually wanted, and he declined. So you'll see me later here. I just want to test it out. I gave Jeff Locke a huge contract, and he does resign. So that's why I'm cautious to see if it's just I had a bad year, or if these players actually want a lot of money. Because if that's the case, then that's going to be difficult for us to make, in my franchise, to ever make any big splashes in free agency. Because if I use all my money re-signing these players, if I have to offer over like $2-3 million than they actually desire, that's going to leave me with no cap room. As you see here, when I get to a free agency eventually, I can't make a huge signing, and I can't make a lot of signings. I can only get about 2 to 3 players at the cap room that I end up having, because I have to offer these guys just a bunch of money over what they really desire. If I really wanted to, I could franchise tag someone, but obviously I'm not going to do that and just assume they won. Like they just always say they want to play for a new team, which makes me believe that we just had a bad year and they don't want to play, but it also makes me think that we are, we're not like a really good team, but we are going up and we have a pretty good roster. So that's why, I don't know. I think it could be either way. So I guess we'll just have to find out when we get more into the franchise, and I haven't really looked in depth at what other people do in their sim and re-signing players, if they're feeling the same exact way. But we do end up making some signings in free agency. This is another thing I love, the free agency aspect. How, as you see, I submitted 97 total points this guy's going to give me, and that's going to move me in the first place. As you see in the top bids, 83 points, 81 points on Luke Jokel, and I knew if I gave him a big enough contract and got the 95 total points, then I'd be in first place. Same thing goes for a bunch of the other players. That is what I really like about this new Madden 17 franchise. I really love that they put that into the game. That's going to help a lot in the long run, and it's going to really get us able to hopefully sign a bunch of people in the franchises. But we advanced a week, and you see we signed Prince Amukamara. We didn't get Josh Gordon because I didn't have enough money. We got Luke Jokel and Vincent Jackson, and now we head to the draft. The draft is the same exact way as last year. I was hoping maybe they'd fix this somewhat, but it really didn't even need too much fixing. It was fine how it was. I'm fine that they kept it, and with the new scouting, they did enough to the prospects by making this a new scouting. So I think that's completely okay that they kept it exactly the same. You'll see I actually had a pretty decent draft. I got the 78 overall wide receiver first in pick 7. Probably could have gone for something better, but after I lost Charles Johnson, Cordero Patterson, then I knew I needed a wide receiver. And you'll see I just go through the picks. This actually turned out to be one of my best drafts I think I've ever had in a Madden. I don't know why. I think it may be the new scouting that really helped me a lot. But see, my second round, I got good value out of this guy. And he's a 77 overall. And you would just keep going through, and you'll see I just have some good players that really were supposed to be picked a lot higher, valued a lot higher than when I drafted them at, and other than about 1 or 2 obviously, but I'm definitely okay with that. If I miss out on about 1 or 2 of my draft picks not being so good, I'll definitely take as we get another wide receiver there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this new franchise. I'm excited to finish up year 3 in the Madden 16 franchise. Like I said, there'll be about 2 more episodes, probably a statistics episode, and then probably the Super Bowl, and that's where we'll end it. Unless you guys would like to see an off season, I can definitely do that, but I would not start another year because by the time sliders come out, we'd be in the middle of year 4, like week 4 in year 4, and there'd just be no point in continuing it from there because there would be no goal for the rest of the season. So I'd probably just end up showing you some draft champions and stuff like that until the franchise ended up coming out. But you guys have to let me know what you want to see before the sliders come out. A nice slider set that I will enjoy playing on for the Madden 17 franchise, like I am using for the Madden 16 one. Really found some really nice sliders I enjoy playing with, and I get some good competitive games on there. And that's why I'm pretty happy that I've gotten through 3 years through on that one. But this is almost the end of the episode for today. Like I said, if you want to see me have a gameplay of draft champions, you want to see me continue that draft, make sure you let me know in the comment section to see what you want to find out for Madden 17, or I can do some Ultimate Team. I don't really get into Ultimate Team too much, but I definitely could this year because it looks like it could be a lot of fun, and I would definitely be down to do that. So you guys have to let me know what you want me to see. I'll be down to do whatever you guys want. Just let me know in the comment section, and that will be what I'll bring to you guys. Or if you want to see another franchise sim, anything like that, just let me know. This is coming towards the end of the episode. You see I have this last pick, and then I go through and see the rookie signings, so you see all their overalls together. So that's about all I have for today. Hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. If you did, make sure you smash the like button, and as always, I'm out. Peace.